field of politics, President William Ruto yesterday was in Moiben in Uasin Gishu County alongside different leaders from both UDA and ODM. They had a few things to say. Let's first listen to the president speaking about unity.
He's growing big.
Tufanye bidii tuunganishe wananchi wote wa taifa letu la Kenya. And I want to encourage all of us as leaders, the unity of our nation, the unity of the people of Kenya. In unity, we have strength. We can walk together. We can overcome every challenge when we are united. And that is why I will not relent in making sure that we unite all the people of Kenya in our quest and in our mission to transform our nation and to have a prosperous, peaceful, and God-fearing nation. Mtuombee kama viongozi, kama Wakristo, ndio Kenya iweze kuunganika na tuweze kwenda pamoja.
That's the president, but he was with the other leaders, like I said, from UDA and ODM. Let's listen to what they said in that church mass.
I can assure you that even if you don't build roads for our country, even if you don't build this economy, but you leave us with a country that is united of one people, this country will stand stronger than any economy in the world.
Within the ODM fraternity, which you know, and within our people whom you know very well, huwa tunasema babako akiwa uchi, mtu atupe au aweke nguo juu yake, huyo mtu anakuwa babako. Naona hata nikiongea Your Excellency, bado wanauliza hii watu wamekuja kweli. Hatutoki.
Your Excellency, kama Karuma ako kwa serikali, tunaweza kuwa watu wa aina gani sisi tutoke kwa serikali turudi kwa msitu? Tunaweza kuwa watu wa aina gani sisi tutoke kwa serikali turudi kwa msitu? Hatuwezi kubali kurudi kwa msitu, tuko kwa serikali na tutakuombea Mungu.
Tuko nyuma yako Rais, na tutakuunga mkono kwa maneno yote yale ambao unatuongoza na unaongoza jamii na taifa letu la Kenya.
Okay, serikali and other stories. Let's listen now to what Deputy President said, because he was somewhere also praying. Watch.
Our people are feeling helpless because of economic adversities, because of overtaxation, because of failing health systems, and the president has a big job to do. We want to ask prayers for him. We want to ask the people of Kenya to remain peaceful, and we want to ask the people of Kenya to pray for our president, Dr. William Ruto, to give him wisdom to navigate the challenges affecting the Kenyan people.
Asking for prayers for the president, and of course he goes back to court to fight for his political career. He's challenging his impeachment at the National Assembly and the Senate. Mheshimiwa Sossion, let me begin with you on this one. On what are you dealing with here? Because there appears to be a lot of political movement, but the challenges Kenyans face more or less remain the same. What is that at Moiben Church?
Before I talk about Moiben Church, let me
please let's transition.
Wind up as we transition. That then, even on the labor issue, because it's a big thing.
The previous conversation, you went ahead to the previous conversation.
Yeah,
you never mentioned about the current conversation.
No, but this one you didn't allow me to comment.
I allowed you the chance, you didn't use it.
No, let me just wind this one. I think there's need to improve the capacity of the Ministry of Labor and elevate it to probably the status of the Ministry of Interior, so that then we can effectively deal with labor migration, so that we can effectively prepare our people.
Why do we have to migrate?
Just talked about Philippines.
We don't have to migrate.
You've talked about labor migration is a global phenomenon in terms of movement of work. You've cited Philippines, and when you visit Saudi Arabia, there are about 250 labor officers dealing with the movement of workers and their citizens.
Right.
But Kenya, we have about 3 or 4. So that is something that needs to be dealt with. The politics, coming fast forward to the politics of, you're asking me what was there in Moiben. The president went to worship in a Catholic church where he was invited. And I think the message that has come out very clearly from the president and from those who were with him, that this country must work realistically and practically towards proper national unity. That is not negotiable, and it has to be achieved.
What does that mean, Mheshimiwa Sossion?
Yes, there must be true national unity. And if you look at Vision 2030 of Mwai Kibaki, because we are not operating from the vacuum, we also operate within frameworks of policy plans that exist both locally and internationally. And Vision 2030 talks about reform of politics of this country in the political pillar so that we reduce our politics to issue-based rather than balkanizing the country to tribal entities and fiefdoms. So I think the message that we pick from Moiben is that of true national unity. We can see the presence of members of parliament.
Please help us. What does true national unity mean?
When you talk of national unity, some of us fake. We speak from the lips, but we don't do. We don't really engage in the practical aspects of bringing the country together. We must de-ethnicize the country completely. We must de-ethnicize and promote politics of issues and bring all communities together. The president, of course, pronounced the creation of broad-based government, and that was controversial. Many people did not understand, and you can see the government already accommodates quite a number of people from the other side.
So are you talking about true national unity or political unity?
If we talk about true national unity and you are trying to separate it from political unity, it is founded in politics. And the foundation of everything, even development, is politics. So what is the nature of your political structure? How do we restructure our politics? Politics of inclusivity.
Mheshimiwa Sossion, when you hear Peter Kaluma saying that before Baba goes to Addis, William Ruto, the president, needs to go to Homa Bay, and Raila to hand them over to...
You've just said, is it political unity? The foundation is political unity. If indeed Kaluma and his group and the entire people of Nyanza feel that politically they can now affiliate properly with President William Ruto, so be it. That's a political decision. It's a political right. You can't divorce politics as an instrument of uniting people. You can't.
What if along the way they are of different political persuasion? Does that mean unity collapses?
No, it doesn't. Those are divergent political beliefs does not mean division. Anyone who wants to think differently is free to do so and engage in pursuit of persuading others.
Before broad-based administration, what does that mean?
You have so many questions to ask, and you have no time to get the proper answers.
But it is what it is, because the president said he's forming a broad-based cabinet, if you may call it so. Before then, Raila Odinga was leading Azimio, and if you had to say majority of the leaders in Nyanza region were with him, does that mean the country was divided because they were in Azimio and William Ruto was leading Kenya Kwanza?
No, you're asking a question that really is so simplistic. People had different political positions.
To be very simple to understand.
And they can still maintain those different political positions. Azimio remains in place. ODM remains the minority party in parliament, occupying its legitimate position. It does.
Mheshimiwa Sossion,
and that does not stop them from practicing.
Have you listened to Mheshimiwa Kaluma?
Yes, I've listened to Kaluma.
And you heard him saying that kuna watu wanauliza hawa kweli wamekuja, and he keeps quiet and says hatutoki. Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard it very clearly.
So, I mean, how do you reconcile that with what you're saying?
When I reconcile that with what I'm saying, it means very clearly we are engaged in politics of collaboration. And I'll take you back. Yes, we must collaborate politically. They remain in ODM, we remain in UDA, but we can work together. There's nothing wrong with that. And the president stated very clearly during his swearing in on the 13th of September 2022. It is not a new thing. It is not an afterthought. And he said, we shall unite this country. And as the president, I will work with every leader of this country, regardless of political shades. And we have seen the president consistently work with leaders of all political shades. And people expected the president to begin fighting members of the Azimio, to begin fighting with Raila Odinga. But then there is more to gain in collaboration for the good of the country. And you can see from this political collaboration, which is a philosophy, you can see from next year, through the efforts of government and the president, Raila Odinga will be the AU chairman. And this could not have happened if we continued the dangerous pathway of conflicts and fighting. There is more to gain in collaboration while still maintaining your political identities and maintaining even your political standpoint. There is nothing wrong with that.
More to gain
but
collaboration.
it is good for the people to try and work together. And that's the philosophy of the president. It will stand the test of time. And when you hear Kaluma saying, we've come here, we are here to stay, it means they are here to stay within the philosophy of uniting the country, which the president is propagating. And he's not propagating in darkness, he's propagating in pro-daylight. And he propagated it at the platform at the church.
Can you make progress
that's
now?
the fact.
Let's listen to what some leaders said while attending a funeral in Tharaka Nithi County. Watch.
Unajua Kenya na milima miwili, Mount Kenya na Mount Elgon. Na sisi ambao tunatoka Mount Elgon hatujawahi kuthubutu kusema sisi watu wa mlima. Najua kuna wengine walituambia ati sijui tukiguza nini mlima italipuka. Mumeona ikilipuka? And I want to assure you, Mr. Speaker, sir, the mountain, as I said in Parliament, the mountain is intact because the mountain belongs to all the people of Kenya. There is only one currency in politics, and that currency is called loyalty. There's no other currency. Loyalty to your cause, loyalty to the people who elected you, loyalty to your boss, and loyalty to what you stand for. Tusiwe na viongozi wa kuwagawanya Wakenya kwa misingi ya ukabila. Tusiwe na viongozi ambao wataturudisha nyuma sisi tukiangalia mbele. In a democracy, numbers are many. 282 members of parliament against 44 say Kenya must change.
All right, many things said there in a funeral. It was at the funeral of the mother of the JLAC committee chairperson, One Honorable Murugara. May she rest in peace. But back to what the leaders were saying there. Your speaker says that the currency in politics is loyalty. And he says loyalty to your boss, loyalty to the electorate or the people that voted for you, loyalty to the boss, and loyalty to what you stand for. And I say boss 2 times because that's exactly what he said. Where does that sit in true national unity?
Well, first of all, let us just go back and I've listened to my senior Kaluma and team, but let me start by history. You see, the problem we are facing is not even about all the things we are seeing now. The problem we are facing since 2003 is that a Kenyan governance system, which we have tried and that works better for Kenyans, is a hybrid system than a system that we have borrowed, either whether it would have been parliamentary or whether what we have borrowed now, presidential, a presidential system.
Right.
And you will realize since 2003, Sam, every government that has come into power, the first 2 years, we go through a thorough bashing each other, we get into conflict, in every election after 2 years. When you look at the one for Kibaki, after just election, we went into a memorandum of understanding that we thought it was done, it was kept, and at that time we just went into some serious conflict and went until we went to a referendum, until the government lost that referendum. We come and pick, we get into the elections of 2007 again. Here we are, we get into the throats of each other, and we find ourselves in crisis. We form back to a hybrid system is when again we calmed down, and then we moved.
Right.
Then we got the new constitution, and Uhuru and the president now comes in. At that time, again, you remember the conflicts we had. Oh, we are going to Hague, and we push, and we did so many things. After that, 2013, 2014, we come in, we are good. Then we come to something called a Eurobond. Then we come into nullification of an election. Then we are here. We've moved with those crises. I think as a country, as Baba always says, it's good to have a conversation. I think it will heal many things that we sweep under the carpet, and then we assume we can do better even when this government comes in. And that's why the president are in conflict again. 2 years. And I believe and I trust 2025 might be the calm time for Kenya. But don't forget, you are soon now again getting into an election. So it has been very sad for the last 25 years of our systems of how we do things. And it's very, very unfortunate. But then looking now at this, now we are back to a hybrid, which Kenyans prefer. Let's be honest. Kenyans believe everyone must be in government, by the way. They don't believe there's this opposition. They don't find it. And so you might fight them.
Are you talking about Kenyans or Kenyan politicians?
No, not politicians. Because if it is politicians, then Kenyans can decide to remove it. Then Kenyans can feel when you come to our place, we will not welcome you because we didn't want it. But they welcome. In fact, they celebrate you, and you wonder. The other day we were just bashing. Now we are celebrating. Who are we? Who are we? The same way when I looked at the churches when everything was happening, and now the truth was coming, you could see now the churches, most of the members in the church are very happy to hear such words. Why? Because in their mind and in their heart, they were also forced to do something maybe they never felt was theirs. So what am I trying to say? That yes, we have all these turbulences, but we need to ask ourselves, you see, it's only in Kenya, in the whole of East Africa, that we have, is it that we have too much ego on ourselves? What is this that ails us that does not ail even Uganda, where Museveni has been there, people that are crying, are doing it, but you find Ugandans in the rural will tell you, we want Uganda, we have seen hell, we want Uganda. Same with Rwandans, same Tanzanians have made it very clear. There is politics and there is work and there is economics that you need to take care of.
All right.
So it is for us, because all of us are politicians, by the way, in Kenya. Because
you come from ODM, so you are Hamtoki. You associate with the words of Mheshimiwa Kaluma?
Well, that was Kaluma in Moiben.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And for him, for me, the most important thing, you see, I always say, as the speaker said, loyalty to the party. I mean, Baba has said, I want a peaceful Kenya. I want a Kenya that I will see things moving. It does not matter. He was with Uhuru. He was abused at that time. So this time I didn't know whether we wanted to go the Sudan way, and he did wrong. He decided. But the ones who are moving the movement to take us to that Sudan way, then you coil off. If you want to be a revolution, you must go to the end. You must fight it and bring it to the end. Wale wanabaki, wabaki, walinde Kenya. Okay. Kenya iwe mzuri.
I don't know what that means.
No, it means...
Allow me.
We're closing the show.
Mheshimiwa Elachi, we're closing the show.
I know we are closing, and I'm leaving my...
It's unfortunate that we are debating with people who are taking all the time.
No.
Mheshimiwa Gadeno, no, it's okay. Gadeno Mushamba, because we need to close the show. Your thoughts about what we have just witnessed from Moiben versus what we witnessed in Kiambu and Tharaka Nithi?
First of all, I want to comment on the Moiben. I saw the president struggle very much to talk to us about Schiff. is this Shif or
Shah?
Shah. I get confused because those two products have never sunk in my mind. I need somebody to take me through.
It's okay. Both exist. Carry on.
Yeah. So I saw him struggle, and it's not the first time he's really struggled to talk about them. And when you see a president taking a product and keep on selling it to the public whenever he has an opportunity, then it means the product itself has a problem. And I'm sure the president knows. He knows that Kenyans are suffering. He knows that cancer patients are being turned back from chemotherapies and radiotherapies. He knows that dialysis patients are suffering, really, really suffering. And we are members of parliament here for myself and Beatrice. We can confirm that, like, for example, if I check my messages, the many messages I have of patients desperately looking for services in our hospitals is something for me as a politician makes me feel very guilty. That we can waste 2 weeks in parliament to discuss impeachment of an individual at the behest of millions of Kenyans who are suffering. We do not prioritize what concerns Wanjiku. We prioritize whether tunatoka hatutoki kwa serikali, hiyo maneno ya Kaluma. It makes me feel very, very cheated as a Kenyan when a president sits and members of parliament, instead of telling him, Your Excellency, there's a problem with medication, they tell him, we are behind you, we are behind you, we are behind you, Your Excellency. Behind what? Behind failures? Behind pains and suffering of Kenyans? It pains me when I see members of parliament crisscross this country to go and chest thump on who is going to be the deputy president and who is going to be the... You know, when we have the opportunity as members of parliament to lobby and advocate for the needs of Kenyans. When I see my majority leader talk about the mountain has been done this, and who cares whether the mountain has been touched or not? People care whether they have food on the table, whether they have medication in the hospitals. That is, to me, my majority leader should spend a lot of time, you know, to advocate for the issues that they promised at the pulpit during campaigns. So but me,
he says it's part of national unity.
For me,
to bring communities together.
The guy who is watching us today, who voted for us early in the morning, doesn't care whether Kaluma is in or out. Doesn't care whether Beatrice is in or out. That person cares whether his child can access university education, can get medication, can get sufficient food and security. As we speak right now, I'm reading this paper today that the Inspector General is struggling to tell us what's happening with the murders. That is what Kenyans want to know. Who is killing us? Who is abducting us?
All right.
Those are the issues. So for me, the issue of loyalty, party loyalty, is our wanasiasa. Those are politicians, political class issues. But when we are elected, we should concentrate less on the political class issues and concentrate on the electorate issues.
All right.
So that we can make their livelihoods better.
Let's leave it there because we're out of time and so much coming to us. We can use a minute to take a look at the feedback that has come to us. Citizen TV Kenya, Sam Gichuku, the hashtag to use is Citizen Daybreak. Franco Rinde is saying that Kenya is grappling with severe unemployment crisis, especially affecting young people. Despite high levels of education, opportunities are scarce. It's time to prioritize job creation, entrepreneurship, and skill development to support Kenyans' vibrant youth. John Wangai, politicians are always out of touch with the reality on the ground due to the large perks they earn after plundering. Due to the reckless bills they pass has led to the frustrations we see in the people. The addressing is due to the life they can afford. Sir Nixon Dugiri is saying that the employers kindly understand the times or conditions job seekers are living in. Demoralization caused by vast unemployment is their greatest extravagance. Morally, it is the greatest menace to our social order. Engineer Lazaro, you say Parliament should be reminded to debate serious issues such as biting youth unemployment, rising cases of femicide, and crisis in education sector. The three serious issues should be debated at length, just like Rigiji case. And Dr. Chris Galgalo, an educationist, is saying, good morning. Let them not only wait for documents from Ministry of Education, but have they ever gone on the ground, especially in arid, semi-arid lands, to see the reality or situation in those regions? Did MPs check the content of the CBC books? How do you improve swimming? How do you improvise swimming pool in form of sand? And Godi Baraza is saying that allow me to wish our candidates who are sitting Kipsea this week in the Republic, my daughter Chloe Baraza from Kitale School. All the best, Chloe, and your fellow classmates as you go through the assessment this week. That's our time. So much more to be discussed, including what is in the papers. Our turn to it is the headline of the Daily Nation of people within the Kenya Kwanza administration on how they have benefited directly or indirectly through state opportunities. Honorable Gadeno Mushamba, Honorable Wilson Susion, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, thank you for making time for us. That's our time. Up next is Sporty Monday. The crew is here to talk about the action of the weekend, including how Arsenal continues to draw or lose. My name is Sam Gituku. Bye for now.